Hi, my name is Tara Gilboy, and I'm the author of the book Unwritten, as well as its sequel, Rewritten, which comes out next week, April 7th. To celebrate Rewritten's book birthday next week, I wanted to read to you from Unwritten, and I'll be reading a little bit from this book every day and posting it here. At the end, I will be giving away this copy that I'm reading from, so stay tuned for how you can win a copy of that, because I'll be posting information about that soon. So Unwritten is about a girl named Gracie who finds out that she's actually a character from a fairy tale, and that her parents took her out of the fairy tale and into the real world when she was just a baby to save her life, because they learned that she was supposed to die at the end of her story. And Gracie wants to find out, who she is, what her story said about her, and so her parents won't tell her anything, so she seeks out her story's author to find out more about what the story said about her, and then that's when things go terribly wrong for Gracie. So I'm going to read to you from chapter 1 of this book, and I'll be reading a little bit every day, and I hope you like it. Chapter 1. Always, for as long as she could recall, Gracie had the memory of fire. It descended on her even now as she sat in her 7th grade science class, swooping in out of nowhere as she hunched over her textbook. It wasn't a true memory. She'd never been in a fire, after all. But it felt real. The images came in flashes, the flicker of sparks, dark spots that moved smoke-like, lurking in the corners. Her skin burned hot, and she felt flushed. Story glimmers, Mom had explained. Glimpses of things that would have happened if we hadn't escape bombed off. It doesn't matter what was written in that terrible book. It didn't come true. You're safe now. Just push the visions away. They're not real. But Gracie rarely experienced a story glimmer this intensely, at least not when she was awake. Most of the time, the glimmers were like spotting something out of the corner of her eye, the glare of flames reflected in a window pane. Usually, it was only in her dreams that she smelled the smoke, sensed the heat, and she found herself once again torn between curiosity and fear. "Are you ill?" a voice said beside her. Gracie turned. Walter watched her from behind glasses smudged with fingerprints because he was always shoving them up on his nose. He reminded Gracie of a plump owl. "I'm fine." Gracie wiped sweat from her forehead and fought the irritation that always crept over her when she was around Walter. They had once been friends when they were very young. That was nearly 8 years ago now, but if Gracie looked closely, she could still make out the pearly outline of the scar beneath Walter's right eye where she had struck him. Gracie was about to turn back to her homework when a red paper flyer slid from between the pages of Walter's book and fluttered to the floor. Gracie bent to pick it up and froze. Across the top, bold black letters spelled the name, Gertrude Winters. "Why do you have this?" The paper quivered in her fingers. Had Walter's parents finally told them the truth about the story, who they were? Walter crooked his arm around the book he was reading. "I know I'm supposed to be reading the textbook," he said, "but I already finished the chapter yesterday, and I got this new book about dark matter last night. It's fascinating. Did you know—" "Not the book, this." Gracie thrust the flyer onto his desk. Walter turned it over in his hand and shrugged. "The woman at the bookstore stuck it in my bag. I've been using it as a bookmark." "Are you going?" "Where?" "To see Gertrude Winters." Walter blinked. "I don't read fiction. It's kind of a waste of time, don't you think? I read science books, and Gertrude Winters is not a waste of time." For a moment, Gracie had let herself hope that she'd have someone besides Mom to talk to about Gertrude Winters and the glimmers. "She's brilliant. Gracie's cheeks burned. The classroom was fading, replaced by the sharp snap of flames. The tang of smoke seared the back of her throat. Not now. She gripped the edge of her desk so tightly her knuckles turned white. willing the vision away. The glimmers were worse when her temper flared, and she counted silently to 10, which was what Mom told her to do when she was angry. You can have it. Walter held the flyer out to her. If you like this Winters person so much. Gracie shoved the flyer into her folder. Are you sure you're not sick? Walter said. It's just... Gracie paused. Do you ever feel funny, like you remember things that didn't really happen? Walter shrugged. It's likely neurons misfiring in the brain and triggering the sensation of memory. That's how deja vu works. Not deja vu, more like... Or it could be a sign of mental illness, Walter continued. Or a vivid dream, or... Never mind. The bell rang, and disappointed, Gracie gathered her books and hurried to lunch, leaving Walter mid-sentence. You got this from Walter? Gracie sat at the kitchen table later that night. Her mother stood at the counter, clutching the flyer, one hip cocked, honey-colored curls tumbling around her shoulders. Her face wore the pinched, splotchy look that meant she was angry. Don't worry. Gracie pulled a thread from the tablecloth. I didn't tell him anything. But why did he have it? He said it came in a book he bought. Who cares why he had it? I think we should go see her. Mom crumpled the flyer. Absolutely not. I'm not saying we have to talk to her. Gracie stared at the flyer, wrinkled in Mom's fist. Mom had set her mouth in a hard line, and Gracie could feel her hopes slipping away. It's the perfect opportunity to see her in person. She won't know who we are if we sit in the audience and listen. She might recognize us. Mom stuffed the flyer into the trash can and thumped a jar of pickled eggs onto the counter. She wrote words. It's not like she has our photographs. And what if Cassandra's watching her, huh? Just watching and waiting to see if we try to contact Gertrude Winters. What if Cassandra was able to find us? I don't want to have anything to do with Gertrude Winters. I don't understand why you're so fascinated with her. Mom slammed pots around as she got the water boiling for potatoes. Mom always started banging things when she talked about Gertrude Winters. But I'm not going to discuss this anymore. It's for your own good. Gracie blinked back tears of frustration. Why can't we at least talk about it? You won't even listen to my side. You don't get a side in this. I'm the parent. I make the decisions. What I want matters too. The room grew hotter, a burn smell in the air. Gracie took a breath, balled the edge of the tablecloth in her fist, and focused on keeping her voice level as she said, Aren't you even a little curious about what she wrote? See? I knew you wanted to do more than listen. You want to talk to her. Don't you want to read our story? Why would you want to read something so awful? I know more than enough already. You tell me what kind of a woman goes around killing children off. Mom slashed her knife through a potato and dropped the pieces into the pot. Gertrude Winters didn't know. She thought she was just writing a story. Mom snorted. Is that supposed to make it any better? Besides, I have to work on Saturday. You could at least let me see her if you don't want to. No. Mom turned her back to Gracie and opened the freezer. Do you want peas or corn with dinner? But Gracie was already gone, halfway to her bedroom, where she slammed the door with a satisfying thud. And that is the end of Chapter 1. I'll be reading from Chapter 2 tomorrow. And if you have any questions for me, you can find me on Twitter. I'll be doing a Q&A. So if you want to tag me in a post, you can and use hashtag Unwritten Q&A. And I will respond to any of your questions. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I hope that you like my book. And don't forget, the sequel comes out next week, and we'll be doing all kinds of fun things next week to celebrate its release. So, thank you. Bye.